was 6 years old. And with the upcoming premiere of Andor Season 2, he's ready to fight the Empire. Let's make some noise for Diego Luna!
They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house.
Buenas tardes, saludos a todas y a todos. This is just what you need, you know, after 2 hours of sleep. Amazing. So nice to be here again. So nice to be back. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Diego, thank you so much for being with us, especially on 2 hours of sleep. You're doing an amazing job. This whole weekend has been phenomenal. Yesterday, the first audience of fans saw the premiere episode of Andor Season 2 after a panel.
It was very special, and I have to say, it was the right thing to do. You know, it was perfect. I'm so glad the team made everything work. So yes, it was perfect to share the first episode with this audience. You know, it's like a full circle kind of thing. You know, we're getting to the end, and we had the opportunity to share it with you. You've been there since day one with us. You've been there, and your support has been crucial for us. I mean, from the moment we came out with Rogue One, since then, you know. I was remembering that celebration in London, 2016.
Yeah.
Wow. It was so important, you know, to understand, for us to understand that you guys were there, you know, that this was all for you. So thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the episode yesterday. Did you? Yeah?
It's so wild to think back to Celebration 2016. Rogue One's about to come out, you know, and I imagine for you, you were thinking, you know, wow, I'm in Star Wars, that's great. Maybe one and done. Is that true? Or were you thinking, I'm going to come back and play Cassian Andor again?
No, never. I don't think that way. In fact, you know, it was great to think it was just a film, you know, and because I understood that language, you know. I've been doing films my whole life. It was like, okay, I'm going to do this gigantic film. I'm going to do a Star Wars film, but it has a beginning and an end. I'll be back home, back to normal, and I'll just see this as like, wow, that was a great year of my life. That's how I went through the experience. And but I remember, and Alan was saying this yesterday, that we used to say on set of Rogue One, we should do a prequel, we should do more, you know. This is
what a great idea.
But yes, we did. But it was always a joke, you know, and we didn't think it was gonna happen. There was no shows, no TV shows back then, you know. There was no this long format didn't exist. At least in Star Wars, it didn't exist. So it wasn't a possibility. No, it was a nice thing to hear years later that they were interested in revisiting Cassian and going into the backstory of the character.
I love that idea of it'll be 1 year of your life, and now it's been almost 10.
10 years.
10 years with Cassian Andor.
10 years, yeah. In fact, it's 11 years. It's 11 years since I started doing auditions for Cassian. I did my first audition I did in Mexico City. I remember, yes, the director said to me, like, make sure you do like, you record it nicely, you have some props. And I put together a whole production, you know. I had a production company, so I called my friends and we rented a studio. Like, it looked pretty good. And we did an audition, but I couldn't tell people what I was auditioning for. So I had to do it. I mean, I had to convince everyone not to ask what they were doing. You know, they
Don't ask questions. Just hold this blaster. It's
yeah,
fine.
just go there. You know, press rec, make sure it's in focus, and that you can hear on the mics. But I did that 11 years ago. It's been. And I've aged like 25 years.
Not a day.
over
You've
these
aged not a
10
day,
years.
Diego.
It's intense. I mean, Andor was intense. The shooting was very intense for us, I have to say. But good, you know, because it was always a challenge, you know. And the first season we shot while the pandemic was at its peak, you know. So it was difficult.
Yeah, it actually changed the story sometimes for you.
Yeah, well,
Shows
I
what
mean,
was possible.
and the process, you know, the process of shooting was demanding, was complicated in many ways. But I think that kept us like. At the same time, we were one of the only lucky people in this industry that was actually working, you know.
Yeah.
So we were really happy that there was an opportunity for us to keep doing what we love, you know, while things were such in dark times, you know.
Yeah, and it's such a beautiful first season. You know, so well written, such beautiful production design. Just everything about it is phenomenal. It's one of my personal favorites. I know we're not supposed to pick favorites. I'm sure nobody at work can hear me say that, so I'm sure it's fine that I said that right here. Diego, I want to bring it back to the fans for a moment because we were talking backstage a little bit about how important it is to you to have all of this, support from the fans. You know, and you just said it out here as well. You know, if Rogue One didn't have that fan support that it does, we wouldn't be sitting here talking today. You know, you wouldn't be celebrating your 11th anniversary with Cassian Andor. But we are so delighted that you are. And, you know, I'm curious from your perspective, what do you think it is about the character that fans gravitate towards?
Oh my God, I'm glad you asked that because I do think there is something very special about Cassian, and we owe it completely to Rogue One. You know, Rogue One was a film that was meant to be different, that was meant to pay attention to characters that we normally don't pay attention in this universe, you know? And I think that's what makes that film so important and relevant and different and unique, because it's about the people. It's about those who look like us, you know, in Star Wars. Yeah. I mean, there's amazing characters in Star Wars. There's all these fantasy universes, but then there is the people, you know. And behind the revolution, behind the rebellion, there's people, regular people like us, you know.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to commit to these characters and to tell the story of these people when there's no Jedis around, you know. And Andor goes even deeper, you know, into that kind of like.
It gets personal.
Well, it is a beautiful reminder that, you know, behind an event like this, there is people we forget about that were crucial, you know, that
Yeah.
were crucial. And this show is about that people. This show is about what makes them decide to sacrifice everything for this cause. Yeah. And I think the beauty of Cassian is that he's a guy that you might not even see, you know. And then when you realize how important he was, how important his community was, how important, you know, all of those who decide to take that last mission, how important they are for this, the whole story of this galaxy, you know. I just like, I mean, I just think it's when Star Wars is talking to us, you know, straight at your eyes, telling you, hey, you can be part of this, you know.
Yes, and it's saying everyone is important. And a little bit of, I think, life imitating art here. There's an amazing crew behind the scenes also working to put Andor season 1 and season 2 together, and Rogue One. You know, it takes a village to get those off the ground. I'm curious, when you reflect back, do you have any kind of visceral memory of the difference between how you felt on day 1 on set for Rogue One versus final day on set for Andor season 2? You know, saying hello to this character in a really big way, and then, you know, saying goodbye to Cassian.
Yes. It's going to be long. Relax. No, because, I mean, the first day I was like, I had to be pinching myself. I couldn't like be a professional actor. You know, I was just going like, shit, look at this. My God. And there was no way to tell friends, you know. Obviously, no phones or cameras allowed on set. And I was supposed to be like, you know, concentrate and be telling a story. And I was just like, shit, this is happening and it's real. And oh my God, things look the way they look in film, you know. It's like acting in theater. Everything is there. You can touch it, you feel it, you interact with those things, you know. So not even the first day of shooting, the first show and tell of the props, you know, and you go there and you interact with what's going to be your blaster, your belt, your all the equipment you're going to have access to, and you're like, this is insane, like a spoiled child, you know. Imagine your parents say yes to everything you say in Christmas. That's the feeling, you know, like, no, I mean, I asked for 20 things to get one, but here I had the 20 toys in front of me, you know, and everything works. The blasters, you know, like the blasters, they give you a kick. They make a noise, you know, every time you pull the trigger. It's like, it's just like suddenly it's happening, you know. So I had the feeling of going back to my childhood, you know, of being back into that fantasy world that amused me, and having a lot of fun, basically. That was the first day. Then things got more and more complicated, and obviously, I mean, I reminded myself I was getting paid and I needed to deliver, and but
and
yeah,
you did.
I tried at least. I tried. I promise. But I tell you what my last day of shooting was. It was like my last day of shooting Andor season 2, right? It was like going back to that first moment, going back to the kid. I was doing some piloting that we had, some special shots that we had for that beginning you guys saw yesterday, you know, in that prototype when I'm trying to fly that thing. And I was there in the cockpit on top of a gimbal, a little thing that actually moves, you know, so you turn right and it moves right, left, down, up. If you get hit, it shakes, you know. You're like basically in a Disneyland ride, you know, and playing there by myself, dressed like the pilot with everything, pushing buttons and flying this thing. And that was my last day. It was a full day in the cockpit, you know, by myself, going back to like, yeah, that thing of like saying goodbye to this toy, this gigantic toy I had the opportunity to play with, you know. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful way to close. And then you asked me about the team. And I do want to talk about the team because, yes, I think we talk very little about what's behind, you know? The amount of people working in a show like Andor, it's incredible. You know, the amount of designers that are sitting down making choices that then you see and you take for granted, but there's the work of someone behind each element on the screen, you know. We work with the best people in costume, the best people, and every costume, like, it doesn't matter where it is on the frame, you know, if it's in the background, out of focus, if someone's there is wearing something that looks amazing and that has a lot of work behind, you know. So it's all the costumes, it's all the sets, it's all the props, it's every look, you know, every makeup design, every hair design takes time, takes a lot of time. It's 2 years and a half for us to do one season, you know. One season, yeah, basically, I mean, what you saw yesterday is months of work for us, you know, for you to see 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and this season is very much for
and we
films.
get all the applause, we get all the attention, we come out and you guys go nuts, but you should go nuts for those 300 or 400 people working on the shows you love, you know? Because they care about what they do like no one else. Like we work with people that went to work every day really wanting to be there, you know? And one beautiful thing about Andor is that the team of the second season is the same team we had on the first season. Everyone came back.
Yeah. That's phenomenal.
That doesn't happen often. Like people repeating in a show, that means you care. That means you had a great time. That means what you're working on represents you as an artist, as audience too. Yeah. And Andor, you know, created that kind of family, that community that came back, you know. And I want to send, my love to all of them, because you made these 6 years of my life beautiful. You know, I was around people that inspired me every day.
Yeah. Oh, well said. Diego, before we let you go, I know how much you love to speak directly to the fans and how important the fans are to you. So is there any message that you would like to share with the fans gathered here and also watching live from home?
So I think one thing I said yesterday, I think I've been saying every time I get a microphone, but I'm shocked about the number. You know that 125 countries, 125 different cultures are represented in this celebration.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we take that for granted, but it's a beautiful, beautiful example to the world of what we can do, you know, when we get together, when we decide there's something in common we all have, you know, and we celebrate our differences, but we find what connects us. It's beautiful to belong to such a diverse community, you know, and you've been amazing all these years for us. One thing you have to know is that this energy inspires us. This energy is a beautiful reminder of what we have to put behind every day of work in anything that has to do with Star Wars. For us in Andor, your energy was a reminder that you care, so we better get it right. So thank you. Thank you for your love and support, and I hope you're proud of this second season. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you connect and feel for these characters, and I hope to see you again one day. Thank you so much.
We love it. Thank you so much for that, Diego. I know this crowd cannot wait to see Andor Season 2, April 22nd on Disney+. 3-episode premiere, not for the faint of heart. Very exciting. But thank you so much for joining us today at Star Wars Celebration Live. And we have so much more coming, so stick around. But one more round of applause for Diego.
Thank you.